Grow Great is a city government leadership podcast with Lisa Norris and me, Randy Cantrell. Each week we share insights, experiences, and wisdom to help you and your leadership grow great. Our website is growgreat.com.
One of the things we've always talked about, and you've drilled into my head, is leaning into who you are. Just being you, leaning into that. We've talked about how we're wired, you and I, very similarly in some ways and very different in other ways. But we came across a quote, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be," by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and thought we'd talk about that today, especially as it affects leadership, because as you get to know who you are, and it kind of, you start getting yourself defined, because it does shift in my mind from when you're a worker bee, and as you move through life and life experiences and growth and maturity, all those start. I think you're still defined initially. We are who we are. We've seen that in dogs. We've seen that in humans and babies. As you raise them, their personalities come out as an infant, and it just develops and grows. And then some things shift. You learn the music you like. You learn the different things you like. You learn your different, pet peeves and things like that. But ultimately, I think the thing I've come across most when I've been working with staff is they often will say, well, I want to be like so-and-so. I want to be like that. I want to be you. I want to be so-and-so when I get, older. I want to be that. And I always tell them, great goal, but don't try to become them. Be the best version of you. Like, find out what you like about that and take those traits and work to mirror the traits and the aspects of them that you appreciate. But don't try to be someone you're not, or it's going to be artificial. And that's, I think, the worst thing you can do is not, you want to be the best version of yourself as a leader, as a person. But if you try to stray too far from who you are, I think that can be problematic, and it can come across ingenuine, So that is kind of my initial thoughts.
Yeah. One of our cohort groups yesterday, we were having a conversation about supervisors who emerge from a peer group and the difficulty that they have in just making that transition sometimes, because
moving from peer to leader.
Correct.
In the same work group. Yeah.
Correct.
Difficult. Yeah, for sure. Difficult.
And it sparked a conversation among the group about identity and just how we see ourselves. And, well, and the real topic was accountability, but it kind of morphed into a conversation similar to this one. Well, they're my buddy. I don't want to. And so it all kind of circled back around to how we see ourselves. And so many of these folks, sadly, they see themselves as still buddies and coworkers and whatnot. Of course, to be fair, not throwing rocks at cities, but so many cities have got so much going on, and they just don't spend any time at the supervisor level,
right, showing people how to adapt, how to lead.
How to adapt and lead and change all that.
Right.
All of that to say that whole self-awareness conversation for me is really common and really huge of the way we see ourselves and how we identify. I mean, how we define kind of who we are. I think so many people, no matter the age, it's hard. I think self-awareness is super, super hard, and it's easy to compare. It's easy for me to judge somebody else. Mostly I can probably judge other people and go, well, yeah, I don't want to be like that because I'm better than them. But then when it comes to wanting to emulate somebody, we I think we can push people down lower than they really are, and we can elevate other people higher than they probably should be.
And both can be difficult if you don't do it well.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think
if
it's
you
just
got
the
to invest
comparison
in
game.
them. Sure.
Yeah.
I think so much of it is, it really does fall on us as leaders. There's two pieces to this. One, that person has self-awareness and an interest to improve. I mean, that's critical. If they don't have an interest to improve or grow and they think they're the best thing since sliced bread in any role, it's going to be problematic.
Well, that's the key element of the quote, I think, is you making up your mind to do what you need to do.
Right. And be who you want to become. Right.
Yeah.
We've always talked about, Randy, just start with being a good human. You can do a lot with a good human. It's like a piece of clay, right? If you're a good human, if you have a solid piece of clay, you can mold it. And if it's the walls are too thin, it's too small. You have to have a good foundation to grow anything. And you start with a good human, we're probably 80% of the way there. If they have natural integrity, if they have natural humility, those are going to be so much easier to mold and grow because there's willingness. If you don't have willingness, I'm not sure the investment of time is is worth it, because if somebody is not willing, you will not change them. I never had come across an unwilling person who has high ego. I have never been able. You aren't going to change them. They will make it sound like you've made an impact, but you haven't. They will just shift it and put it in the back of their head and think, okay, there they go again. But they're going to tell you the words. If they're smart, they're going to tell you the words you want to hear that makes you think they're listening, but they're not. High ego and unwilling, you can't do anything with that in my mind. I've never come across it unless you've experienced something different in your years.
No. Early on, I tried.
Me too. You think you can kind of be a savior? Oh, I can help them. And then you realize, no, I'm not that good.
No. Yeah, I learned real quickly how limited my skills were when it came to that. But I think that's a huge component of all this, of just I've discovered over my lifetime there are few things more powerful than a mind made up.
Right.
And that includes a mind made up that I ain't going to change. I ain't going to listen to you. I'm not going to do what you want. I'm not going to do it the way you want. Good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. But the person who's got their mind made up that they're going to do it, they're going to get better, they're going to figure it out. I don't care the skill set. I don't care the experience. That mindset, they will figure it out. Now, if their skills are limited, their experiences, it may take them longer, but give them time. Give them time, because that grit and resilience that you need to succeed at anything, I mean, right there is an electric guitar that I don't know how to play yet. I've had 3 lessons. It's insanely hard.
But the 3 lessons are recent, right?
Oh, yeah.
I remember you saying that, because you talked about not playing and having a guitar forever. And I was like, you did lessons? So you're growing, Randy. I just wish I was there to give you a hug.
Yeah.
You're so far away.
Well,
I'm so proud of you, sir.
Listen, the growth will fit on the tip of that pen right there, right now. Because I just suck. I mean, it's just crazy hard. No, the question.
My dad played guitar for years and self-taught.
Yeah, I can't imagine it. I just can't imagine it. Because I liken it. So I got a 19-year-old young man in California teaching me. We get on Zoom, and he ain't cheap. I wasn't looking for cheap, and partly, I had 3 reasons. One, I kind of resonated with him, and his approach suited me, and I liken it to me in 7th grade learning to type. I wanted to type because I wanted to write. The quick brown fox jumps whatever that sentence was. And that sentence involves every letter, every letter of the alphabet on the keyboard.
Right.
So the thought was, and I guess it still is, so now if you learn how to type that sentence, then you learn where the keys are. Right. The key is learning where the keys are. Okay, well, good luck.
And not one fingering it.
No,
learning to do it with both hands. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck on that thing, because, the A note is all over the place. It's on every string somewhere, so it's not at all kind of like a piano. It's just not that, it's not that straightforward. But this young man, because I wanted to get whatever's in my head out through my fingers, not like I want to write songs or anything, but I don't want to just learn how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. And then I got to learn something else. And then I got to, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a difference in creating music. So I knew all that about myself, and told him, I said, yeah, I'm committed. And part of the commitment was, to pony up the dough to embark on this. And I've been a horrible student so far, but I'm determined.
Again, self-awareness.
Yeah, my mind's made up. Well, I got stuff going on.
Funny.
But my mind is made up. I don't know why, after 45 years of owning guitars, now at this stage.
Well, you wanted to do something with it. You're just at a point you want to do something with it. And we all have those choices as we go through life, right?
Yeah. Well, I constantly tell people, give yourself permission to change your mind in this pursuit of the ideal outcome.
Yeah.
Because the ideal outcome, it's always different. It's changing.
It's so interesting because it's the same. My dad had, I'm going to get the year wrong, but my dad has played guitar forever. He was in a small jazz band. I believe it was in the Army. And I remember seeing pictures of him, and he played clarinet and I think he played saxophone, and he played guitar. Not bass guitar, but he could do electric guitar. He had a Fender.
I hate people like that.
I know, he's very musically inclined, and he was in. We've talked about it, the Vocal Majority, which is a men's chorus. For those that don't know, he made that and won 3 international competitions in that group over his 12 years. I mean, they were the best of the best. Beautiful voice. Sang on a cruise ship one time. So they recruited him and said, can anybody sing? And he sang The Gambler. You remember The Gambler?
Oh, yeah. Kenny Rogers.
And the whole ship, from what I understand, stood up. Because, it's almost all older.
Yeah.
The cruises they went on were for older populations.
Right.
It wasn't like the Disney ones or anything like that.
Yeah, people
well, anyway,
like
all
me.
that to be said. Yeah. But all that to be said, he played guitar. And he had this, it's like a 1962 Fender. He's one of those that kept it in the velvet case.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he played it, he cleaned. I mean, he was meticulous. He's that kind of guy.
Right.
And he had the old amplifier that was in perfect shape with the silver kind of letters that kind of, it's some famous, he gave that to my brother. And I told my brother, who's notorious for just going, I don't need that anymore. I'll just take it to the pawn shop and offload it for $100. I looked at him. I said, I swear, if you ever let that guitar go for any reason, I will personally come over and throat punch you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was this beautiful guitar. And I had told Don has no musical inclination. I mean, we laugh because he'll get on a guitar and he starts strumming it and goes, yeah. You're like, that's the best he can come up with,
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, please, babe, please stop. And everybody's like, oh, nice, Don. That's good.
So he lacks musical self-awareness.
Yes, but it's fun, right? He's like,
course.
Man, I just wish I could.
Right.
I just wish I could do something. I wish I could play guitar. I wish I could sing. I wish I could whatever. And
I wishing made it so.
Wishing made it so.
Yeah.
But I had told him, I said, man, I'd love, when my dad was alive and I didn't do it quick enough, I kept saying, I need to have him teach me. Just, he's so patient. And just teach me the acoustic guitar, that not amplifier, not the electric.
Yeah, I got one of those over here too.
And
Actually,
I got his.
two of them.
And he had,
good.
Randy, meticulous. He's got the original receipt. He purchased it for $37 in I don't remember where it was. He had the receipt in there.
Right.
We gave
probably
that
worth
one to Haley.
$5,000 now.
And it was just a simple, it's not any, I don't think a famous brand, but it was just cool that the receipt was folded up neatly, tucked in the little case.
Right.
And I wanted him to teach me the strings and like you said, I don't know even what you said. I just know there's certain notes, there's certain chords.
Yeah.
And you have to strum the keys in a certain way. And I said, I'm going to sit with him and then he gets Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And you wish it's
Right.
the wishing.
Yeah.
I would tell individuals, because now he is not with us and he lost it 10 years ago. He couldn't remember.
Right.
So when I did ask him, Dad, can you show me? He looked at the guitar, but he's like, well, I know how to do it, but he couldn't tell me what chord it was. He just said,
But
I
he
just
could
know
still
how to do
but
it.
he could still play it.
Absolutely. And it was strange with his Alzheimer's. He could sing every vocal majority song when it came on.
Yeah, sure.
So that part of his brain is a different part.
Yeah.
So the memory was not affecting he could sing the songs in his part,
Right.
but he couldn't tell you what the song was. He couldn't tell you where he knew it from.
Yeah.
But he would sing as soon as it came on, that and Randy Travis. It was a weird,
Right.
he just knew those two. So anyway, but when we're talking about leaning into that, like you said, it's a mind made up, and becoming, where you want to go and what you want to do. You've got to make up your mind to do it and lean into that, and don't lose an opportunity. I mean, that's my biggest thing, is lean
Yeah.
into who you are. I always tell people, find somebody that you respect and trust, because don't try to do this on your own. Find somebody that you can ask an opinion about. Here's what I'm thinking. So whether it's a musician to help train you, whether it's a mentor to help guide you, there's so many people willing. You just need to ask, and it doesn't mean you don't have to set time. I think it's very helpful just to have people. I've had mentors in my life. I've got my husband. When I'm struggling, I just don't want to do it alone. I called you the other day on an issue. I said, Randy, you got some time? Because I just need to bounce what's going off in my head with a person that I trust, that's got my best interest at heart. Because then I'm willing. I'm going to listen. It doesn't mean I will do everything that they say, but they're going to provide clarity for me to help me know what I need to do next. And when you're growing and trying to become, I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better specialist. I want to be a better engineer. I think so many people attack it in private and just don't think to rely on those around you that can grow you. And that's what our whole show is about, growing great, whether it's you or your people or those around you in your circle of influence.
Yeah, and one other point that I would add to the conversation before we abandon it, at least for today, is what we do and the bearing that what other people do have on that. It's just, I don't know. It is, okay, it's become a pet peeve of mine. For people to either blame or excuse what's happening with them because of what somebody else did. And I'm as guilty as anybody. Mm-hmm. We all do it. We're human. Mm-hmm. But the truth of the matter is, we started this conversation talking about being a good human. And my ability to be a good human doesn't have anything to do with what somebody else does. Mm-hmm. I mean, to use a biblical reference, turn the other cheek kind of behavior. Mm-hmm. So if you slap me, now I'm going to slap you back. You could. Or you could make up your mind to do something different. Mm-hmm. When it comes to work and leadership, I think so many people they're depending on somebody else. They're depending on some opportunity that is afforded to them by somebody else or by some circumstance that may be beyond their control. I'm not sure that's the best way to go. Right. When you could choose to grow where you're planted. You could choose just do great work. I get that the job that you currently have may not be the end-all, be-all, but I haven't met very many people, except people that are more toward the end of their career, that are probably at the place where this is it. Mm-hmm. This is it. This is where they'll end their career. I mean, you as a longtime HR professional know better than me. The average time that people spend in any kind of a role or a job, I can't believe that it's much more than 18 months. I could be way off, but yeah. And I understand the difference in roles, yeah. But over that period of time, whatever that is in today's world, for you to make up your mind that you're going to figure out what you want to be, what you need to be. And again, I would say just permit yourself the latitude to change that. I mean, I set out, I wanted to write. I wanted to cartoon. Everybody in high school would have told you that I would be doing one or both of those things. And I don't do either one.
Right.
You know, things change.
Life leads you to different places.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I got married just shy of 21 and still married to the same girl. And over the span of the next 5 years, had both kids and responsibilities. And I mean, I've mostly done what I wanted to. And I guess lastly, it speaks to, especially the comments with your dad, I mean, it speaks to regret, which I just don't want anybody, we're all going to have them. We're all going to have regrets about things that we wish we would have done. And it's kind of fascinating that the majority of regrets that you hear people enumerate are of that ilk, as opposed to, I regret that I did this. It's mostly, I regret that I did not do that. So, yeah, don't waste your time. Don't waste your opportunities to become who you're going to become. With that instrument back there, I knew I was approaching 68, and I thought, you know what? Lord willing, I'm going to be 70 in 2 years, which seems crazy. But in 2 years, how good can I be at that? If 2 years are going to pass no matter what, I can pass 2 years, and at the end of 2 years, I can better have a handle on that instrument, or I can have no handle on it at all.
Right. Well, it's our original quote, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. And I think the focus there for the audience, it's not somebody else taking you there. You need to decide. It's your actions. It's your decision. You need to figure it out. People aren't going to figure it out for you unless you allow them to. If you allow them to guide you, I would almost bet it's not going to be where you wanted to go. You've got to decide. They can help you see the light. They can provide clarity. They can ask questions. But ultimately, as I always say, you are in charge of you. You need to decide what you want. You need to decide where you want to be and who you want to be and how you want to be that, you know, and then you've got to decide what I can do within my ability. I kind of equate it to my role as a grandmother known as Lily. You know, I can't, some of my grandkids live in Austin. I can't be there every day. It's different than the ones that are 4 miles from me. But I have to choose, and I want to do better in that area of connecting with them. So I'm working on how can I, from a distance, still connect and be in their life, knowing that I can't be there physically every day. And Don and I have talked about that, and he started going down there for their baseball games because he has more flexibility, but it's visibility and presence. I can't do that necessarily, but we can make things happen on the weekends, or we can do phone calls or things like that. And I wasn't good at that before, still not great at it. But again, that is who I want to be. So I'm taking steps myself. Nobody's telling me. I needed to decide, okay, how important that is to me and what am I going to do next? So just don't lose sight. It would be my final thoughts to the audience. It is up to you. It is your actions, your decisions that help you become who you want to be. Destiny is a goal in my mind, but you have to take the steps to get there.
Thanks for watching and listening to Grow Great, the City Government Leadership Podcast. Our website is growgreat.com. For Lisa Norris, I'm Randy Cantrell. We hope you'll subscribe to the show, and we hope you'll tell a friend.